Hi, and welcome to Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. Mike Boroff here, and as with me always is Richard Catterjohn.
Hello.
And this episode we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite comic book stars might be getting his own TV show.
And Mike can also comment on digital comics, finally.
And one of our predictions in a past episode has actually happened. We'll check that out on our pick of the week. And welcome back, Richard.
Yeah, last month was November, and we had the graphic November giveaway. Yep. It was pretty fun each week. I went live. I hadn't done that for a while.
Yeah.
And drew a name out hat, and it was pretty interesting. We'd like to thank all the winners. What was it? Jay, Kyle, Muzz, and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good time doing this. I hope you enjoyed the books. These were some graphic novels that I had laying around, and they weren't just any graphic novels.
No, they were some prized possessions right there.
You know, the Conan I didn't realize was a sought after book after I decided to pick that one. But
put up on a thing, and then he blue booked it and was like, ooh.
Muzz, you got a good deal.
Yeah, I got a very good deal.
And he enjoyed it too, he said.
Yeah.
So.
And me personally too, I really enjoyed some of the comments and the commentary back and forth that I had with a lot of the people who did respond to the website.
Yeah, I wish we had a little more response. I'm going to be a little there. That's why we're doing this, to give this away, to get some more people to interact. But
hey, keep commenting.
Yeah,
you don't know,
yeah.
something might be coming up in the future.
Yeah, definitely. There is something next year.
Speaking of the future of the website,
yeah, we kind of expanded a little bit. We kind of, since the website's getting a little bigger, we got more podcasts and other stuff on the main Underground Video Network site. We've kind of spun off now. UVN Behind the Counter has spun off into UVNBehindthecounter.com.
Yep.
And this just basically, I've had this for a while but never really used it, but now I've finally relaunched it, and it's the place where you can find the present episode. This will be up there on Monday, and plus there's going to be episodes where you can click through and find all past episodes that's online right now.
So we're hoping to expand, and it's not only just the name of the show. UVN has become like the network. It's the banner. We're trying to shoot up there with the other three-lettered. I don't know if I'm allowed to say them, but the three-lettered networks. We're trying to put UVN up to par with them.
And trying to be there. I mean, it's a good place for, I'm going to say, where comic book, movie, gaming people can go and find information. There's other shows could be coming on there. I've been talking to some other people. I know there's other shows in production that might be on there too. So we decided to spin our show off into its own little niche on the internet. That way where you can, if you're fans of us, you can find us. And then hopefully can interact with us there too. So.
Yep.
Underground Video Network, we are back with Robin and Dan. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
All right, tell the people about your craft.
All right. I'm a penciler. I've worked with Twilight Star Studios, doing Butterfly Girl. Well, there it is, with Dustin Carson. And currently I'm working with Dan on a series called Nod.
Sure. Dan Melnick. I'm starting my own comic book company called Nod Comics, which I met Robin at a comic book convention, and we're doing this book together. Conveniently, the first book we're publishing is called Nod, hence the Nod Comics logo. We have all the work here, and just to kind of boil it down in a nutshell for you, it's about a family man who discovers he doesn't have to sleep anymore. It's more of a medical condition than a superpower. So with oodles of free time, he gets a second job as a night security guard to help pay for the family, which naturally leads to vigilantism and fighting crime, because who doesn't love superheroes? And the whole idea behind the whole thing is the longer he's awake, the further he sees the nightmare of the city that we are all safe from when we're asleep at home in our beds. So he gets stuck in the nightmare awake while we're asleep. So it's like a whole big play on that.
That's deep.
It's a little psychological, I guess. Yeah.
And then there's going to be the issue, which is issue 5, where he can't do it anymore, and he just sleeps the whole entire.
Exactly. It gets pretty exhausting, and it gets pretty dark by the end.
So you're the penciler, of course.
Yes.
How long did it take you to even finish this full-on page layout?
Wait, one page?
Yes.
I'd say it probably takes maybe 8 to 10 hours to do a page. It's he lays it out really well. He's a great writer. We have a lot of fun together, and I really love doing it. So
if we had everybody that was in DC that was like this, we'd have comic books out on time. And yes, I'm knocking on you, DC. I don't care. The story, I actually just read the story, The Butterfly, and How did you feel when that was first presented to you?
I really felt good about it. Dustin and I met at Wizard World in, was it 2009? Oh, I feel old. He looked at my portfolio because I was carrying it around, and he said, you know what, I think I have a piece that's perfect for you. And we sat down and we talked about it, and I thought, you know what, this piece is great.
Because I even took like a second take because I even didn't realize that what she had like passed away from, because I just saw her as a trip because I was reading what the dad was speaking about. Okay, this is a spoiler alert if you didn't read this or whatever. So there is someone that does die. So actually I had to take a double take, and I didn't realize that there was the electricity thing that had shocked her or whatever. And I was like, I don't know, I thought it was going the Stephen King route because I was like, wait a minute, why is she, okay, her mom died, now she died, and I'm like, okay, where's this going for him? And then when you have like, she has this beautiful like splash page where it's, to me it was more like a spiritual thing or whatever, where her soul like flying freely, and I was just kind of like, okay, I really don't know where this is going, and I was just like, okay, I don't know if I understood it the way I understood it or was it open to interpretation. So, but I just thought, you know, you did a really good job with that story itself. I kind of got mad at Carson because I was like, why didn't this continue? But no, I thought it was done very, very well, and I think, you know, your art is, I don't know, every time you pencil is like evolving.
Oh, thank you.
So.
And you did interpret it right.
Oh,
and
I'm happy because at first I just looked at it, I was like, did I just make up something in my own head? And I was just like, well, because the flow of it was great, but it was just subtle too, just kind of, you know. And then I was like, okay, and the moral of this is he's gonna be sad. No, just. But anyways, check out her stuff. Tell the website where everybody can.
Sure. Well, the current stuff it's www.nodcomics.com. It's all one word. And since we're getting really close to finishing issue 1, we have updates down there all the time to let you know kind of what's going on. When this is finally done, you'll know by checking out that website. All the other projects we're doing are going to be up there. And every Monday we try to release a webcomic loosely based on this. That it's kind of more of a.
Go ahead.
Some of these. It's kind of more of a cartoony take on the character.
Sweet.
Where in this one it becomes, you know, dark, tragic superhero called the Night Guard, where he just kind of fights crime with a baseball bat and a hockey mask, ski mask in his security guard outfit. This is, what if that character existed in the real world but was a security guard for real, working at a comic book studio? So he's way too intense for what's going on in the world. So it's more lighthearted, it's more fun. This comes out every week on the website. It's free.
Hence, I see the word zombies in one of the scripts, so obviously zombies are lighthearted.
Right. Yeah. So you know, check it out, and then when this one's done, it'll all be up there. So we'll have a couple of finished comics pretty soon.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for the interview. Check these guys out.
all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mike, you've decided to start reading digital comics?
Yeah, I finally broke down. I've got the means to check out the digital comic books. You know, I've been anti-digital comic books since the get-go, and I went into it with a blind eye. I was not. I was talking out of my rear end, you know. But I finally got a chance to see what all the hype was about.
It's there. I mean,
It's there.
I mean, if you watched our panel we had from Cincinnati Expo,
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking this is the future, but I still think it can stay hand in hand with the print media for now.
I do too. I will be honest with you. I'll give you my pros and cons, but in the end, I really don't see digital comic books replacing the paper medium
Anytime
at
soon.
all.
Anytime soon.
Anytime soon, or for me, hopefully at all, because there's just no replacing the look and the feel of a real true comic book.
But like I said, it's kind of convenient though if you're on your lunch break
It
and
is.
you're hanging out. You know.
Yes, that was one of the pros, was the portability. It was nice being able to read a comic book anywhere I wanted to, basically. And I go into it with an open mind because I've only got the iPhone, and I realize that, there's people with the iPads that, I'm going into it with that, mentality. I'm not dissing it because of the size and everything. I know there's things out there that as big as a page. So that's not even factoring into my review of it. For me, some of the pros, like Richard said, was the portability. Another pro that I liked was the inability to be spoiled. That's one thing. I don't care who you are and how long you've read comic books. A lot of people do the same thing. When you open up that first page or the second page, you go towards the first panel, but your eye always inadvertently in your peripheral vision catches something down there at the corner, and you're like, oh, no. That was the nice thing about digital comic books is it completely, avoids that. I mean, you're on page 1, panel 1. It's right there. There's no spoilers. There's no flipping through to the back unless you really put some effort into it. Like swipe. It's not like, right there you are. It really eliminates the spoilers. So there's a lot more of the spontaneous moment that comes with the comic books.
And on top of that, the ads.
The lack of ads was nice.
That's what I've always liked about it, because you pick up a normal print book, you open up, there's an ad.
There's an ad.
Move another page, there's an ad.
There's an
Even
ad.
if you're trying to leaf through it, you still hit every ad. You don't hit the actual art pages, you hit the ads.
Yeah.
Especially that stupid Subway one. Oh, I mean.
Oh, God, DC.
We won't even go there.
No. But pros and cons, I really do. I enjoy the digital comic books for what they are. It's a nice means of portability. The colors on the screen were vibrant. I particularly liked my first introduction to the digital comic books was Avenging Spider-Man #1. Came with a free digital copy. You go on a page, download it, popped it on the phone. That was my first one, so I wasn't reading back issues. I was getting a brand new comic. And it was nice because I got to see both sides of it. I bought it with the paper copy, the paper copy,
yeah.
and the digital copy, so I got to see both sides.
It's sort of like what they're doing with DVD, Blu-rays right now, with the packaging.
I like that. I do. That for me, that would be the way to go. If they wanted to, I would almost be bold enough to say if they wanted to charge an extra 50 cents.
Well, DC charges $1.
$1 is fine.
Because they charge an extra $1 with the Justice League.
Yes, $1 is fine because $1 is pretty much what a download is off most of your websites, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
And
that.
the code is like printed in there, just like
Exactly.
Avenging Spider-Man.
Yes, give us the option. Just like your DVDs and Blu-rays. Do you want the digital copy? No. Here's your normal one. Do the same thing with comic books. Do you want the digital copy? Well, yeah. Here's an extra $1. That's completely fine with me. I liked it. I really did. I'll never give up my paper comic books until the day. Armageddon, cats and dogs living together, total anarchy. When the comic book and paper medium disappears, I will still always be pro comic book and pro book, by the way, too. Because let's face it, there's a little bit of ego involved. You can brag about your comic book collection. Look at all my boxes. Look at all this.
Oh yeah.
Look, see what I got. It's nifty.
Yeah, but 100 and some boxes sniched down into a
And it's also
file drive.
and the other nice thing too is also word of mouth. You go to coffee shop or restaurant, where have you, and you're reading a comic book. Somebody walks by, somebody sees it. Ooh, hey, that's neat. Where'd you get it? What's this? But you're somewhere and you're doing this.
No one knows the difference.
No one knows what you're doing. You
You
could
could be reading War and Peace, as far as anybody knows.
I think it's for us being pro comic book people that we are. We want to see more people get involved in the comic books and reading them. And I think paper books is more the way to go with that. Because, like I said, you have no idea what I'm looking at right now. But. Hey, that's a neat looking book. Where'd you get that at? What's it about?
Right.
So, like I said, pros and cons. Thumbs up. I'll give it one of these. I'm still on the wall about it. I like it, but I still have my beefs with it.
Yeah, I would look at it this way. The digital comic is somewhere in between webcomics.
Exactly.
Webcomics has been around. That's predominant on the the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the guys are printing them into paper form too.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the two starting to form together. And the digital comics now even have a little bit of like emotion to it, sort of, because you read like a panel, so you're actually getting a little bit of like emotion because you have to click through that. Did you notice that with the Avenging Spider-Man? You go from panel.
Yeah, it wasn't just page. I really liked the way they formatted it. It did impress me where you did a swipe and woof, here was this panel. Swipe again, it lowered down to this panel. Swipe it again, it showed you the whole splash page.
Yeah.
It was very well done.
It's been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
The comics have been doing that. I mean, that's how they've been presenting comics in digital format for a long time. And then, like I said, speaking of web comics, coming up next on the show, we got a interview that Peanut did at Champion City Comic with Joe Pruitt, the author behind Britain Ivy, and we picked up a copy.
Wonderful book. That's such a fun, cute book.
So enjoy.
We're here with Joe Pruitt, and he's going to tell us about his craft. How you been doing?
I've been doing good. How about yourself?
All right, pretty good. Tell us what's going on in 2011.
What I'm doing right now, well, of course, I'm at Champion City. I have a bunch of my original artwork here. I do commissions, sketch cards, that kind of thing. And I also have my personal comic book called Britain Ivy. This is actually a collection of the web strips that I did for a short period of time. Okay. And it actually was running in the Springfield paper for a time. But now I'm actually turning it into a more full-blown comic book. I've got the pages all drawn up, and I'm in the process of inking them. I'm going to letter and color them completely. So hopefully I'm shooting for a October release on
October?
Yep.
What would be your, what's one of your type of inspirations for, a book like this?
My 2 kids.
Get out.
That's them right there.
Yep. Obvious.
They have given me plenty lifelong ideas for books, and they still do. So
the kids' imagination, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
ours is okay, imaginate. Artist block. No. Children, they don't have artist block. They're always imagining.
They're definitely. I mean, they're always popping out ideas to me. So I'm secretly jotting it down, and yeah.
Hollywood, if you take note, you can make plenty of great movies.
We don't have to keep remaking stuff. Just listen to the kids.
George Lucas is a big kid.
Yeah, I know. But the basic story for the newest book that I'm working on is the NASA is actually being ran by chimpanzees, and since Spider Monkey.
That's true. That's for real.
Well, yeah, ever since George Bush was in office, yeah. But they send a spider monkey out in space. Well, no good comic book is a good comic book unless there's gamma rays and radioactive giant meteorites that smash into spaceships.
And monkeys.
Right, and monkeys, yes. Okay. No throwing poo this time. But it crashes in their backyard, and Britt, the youngest one, discovers it. Well, the meteorite is still there, but it's been shrunk down, from going through the atmosphere and everything.
Okay.
And of course, the meteorite has given the monkey some powers, but when Britt touches the monkey and the meteorite, she gets powers too. So, in turn, her sister's gone doing various things that a 13-year-old does. But when she comes back and discovers that her sister has these powers, she becomes envious and jealous and decides she wants to be a evil mastermind and try to take these powers from her. So,
okay, first of all, Pixar, you can't steal this. Okay, this is the guy.
DreamWorks.
If anything, come through him and talk to him on the rest of this, because this can easily be made into a full-fledged 3D animated movie.
And so
now.
It's actually going to wind up being about a 3 or 4 story arc. And then after that, there's a big surprise ending, and then the book, I hope, will continue on to be an ongoing series I can continue doing different storylines and stuff with. So I can show you some of the,
okay.
the pages real quick. You want to take a peek?
We have world exclusive pop-up.
Yeah. Nobody's seen any of these.
And Pixar don't steal.
But here's the meteorite scene we got going on there. And then we'll go ahead to a couple others. And then I'll show you the grand finale right here.
Love that when it shows the raw pencils and the ink.
Yes.
What do you use the ink after you finish the pencil?
I actually use what's considered a dark opaque ink. It's a little bit heavier than your typical high opacity like Higgins or whatever, but it just gives a thicker, harder line, and I really like how it works. But this is the last page to the first book, and they're kind of telling you what's going to happen in the next and kind of setting things up, but I hope it takes off, and I hope people enjoy it. It's all ages, of course, and I always felt like my sense of humor and stuff kind of goes along with Pixar, as we've been mentioning. Right. But that kind of sense of humor that can relate to not only kids but adults too. There's some innuendo stuff that parents can get and enjoy, but it's
Shrek had plenty of it.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for with my books. So
I think we're getting there. We're getting to the point here. Tell the people the website.
Good website is probably just on Facebook right now. You can go to facebook.com
There's billions of people there, so
Yeah.
they should be able to.
/Pogo, POHGO, or you can go to the Brit and Ivy page itself, which is facebook.com /Brit and Ivy.
All right, cool. Thank
All
you
right,
very,
thank
very
you.
much.
It's good talking.
Sweet.
And that was another interview that Peanut did at this year's Champion City Comic. I hope you enjoyed his talk with Robin and Dan. There's some pretty good creators. I know Robin was the force behind one of the Twilight Stars books. This was written by Dustin Carson, or that story segment was written by Dustin Carson and drawn by her. So this was a good book. Pick this up. And as we was talking before, we was talking about kids with the Cartoon Net. We're here at Alter Ego Comics.
Yep, here at Alter Ego Comics and downtown Lima, Ohio. And right now we like to mix it up. We like to shoot in a different area store. We thought it was fitting that it being the holiday season that we're here in the all ages section of Alter Ego. We just want to remind people, because we know we talk a lot about the comic books that we like, which are more, I don't want to say adult oriented because that gives it the bad.
Yeah, but it's not. It's all
It's
good.
not. The more grown up. We want to take this chance to remind people that comic books are still for children.
Right. And there's a selection down here. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, Mark's got everything you could ask for. I mean,
Everything from-
Scooby-Doo, Sonic Universe, Mega Man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Muppets. And I mean, you still have
The all
you
age.
the all age, Marvel adventures. There's still a huge market for the children's comic books. I mean, it's not just the childish. It's everything, like he said, from you've got your SpongeBob's and your Scooby-Doo's to your Marvel heroes and your DC heroes.
It's all here.
It's all here. So
And,
this.
I mean, and there's other comic stores.
Oh yes,
And-
we're not just talking about here. I mean, every comic book every comic book store worth its salt has its child section, or at least has somebody who can point you in the right direction towards good children's comic books.
Correct.
Because one of the big things, I talk to a lot of people who aren't comic book fans, especially after so many movies, like the Green Lantern, which the thing
was a
about
good movie. It was actually a good movie.
And a lot of kids I know
Enjoyed it.
enjoy the heck out of it, but a lot of parents are still afraid to introduce them to comic books because it still has that stigma of not, I don't want to say adult, but grown up mentality about it. Your Captain America's,
Well, the average age has moved up to 30.
exactly. But it's nice to remind them that no, the market for children's books is still there and it's still strong, and there's so much good stuff out there for fans of all ages. So this holiday season, you got a child on your list who happened to like the Batman movies, the Green Lantern movies, the Captain America movies. Man, you owe it to yourself.
Or even the Cartoon Network stuff.
Even the Cartoon Network stuff, you owe it to yourself to find your local comic book store and ask them, hey,
Because DC publishes that line.
oh, exactly, Teen Titans, like we talked about
Yeah,
before.
Tiny Titans.
Tiny Titans. It was a good example of that. Just walk in. They love to help. You just say, hey, I've got a little boy, I've got a little girl that's 9 years old. She or he loved the Green Lantern movie. Can you point me in the right direction? They will be more than happy to show you what they've got. And if they don't have, they can tell you what to find.
And on our pick of the week.
Oh, speaking of picks of the week, yes. We mentioned in our introduction that a prediction that we had predicted a few episodes ago came true. Richard?
Yeah, Fantastic Four 600. We was kind of joking around as, Human Torch would be back by 600. Well,
There he is.
sort of.
Sort of.
We don't know for sure everything yet.
But we know he's still alive. Spoilers?
Yeah.
Oh, if you're watching this,
You already read this.
You've already read this. If you haven't, you don't care.
Yeah.
But
But it was done in a good way.
yes, like we'd mentioned in our prediction, you never actually saw Johnny Storm die.
Right.
It's just
is-
implied.
Yeah. But yeah, he did die.
He did die.
Read the story. It's all
Yes.
through he died.
died quite a few times.
Yeah. And then I still think he's merged now with Annihilus.
Yes, with the cosmic rod thing.
Everything going on there. So this still might not be as pretty as what you think.
Yeah, but the 600 was a good read.
Yeah, well, definitely.
It did have, well, we can at least say the reemergence of Johnny Storm back into the Marvel Universe.
So maybe Fantastic Four could get back together. You know, it's going in the right direction. I liked FF. The Future Foundation.
I do too.
It's a good read and everything. And this is just continues on with that. I mean,
It'd be nice to bring Johnny Storm back just to give Spider-Man some breathing room. That poor guy is on like every super team. Isn't he in like the West Coast Avengers now too?
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. God bless him, but man,
And
Poor
digital
Pete
comics,
needs a
too.
break. And digital comic. Poor Pete needs a break.
So, like I said, pick this book up. It is a good pick. I am going to say read this. If you haven't really been reading Fantastic Four, it's not a bad starting point. It's not a fresh starting point.
No.
But if you've been reading it since, like I have, since about 115,
Yeah.
this is just a nice continuation with what's going on with the characters.
So I think we've rambled on long enough about comic books and movies, Richard.
I think so too. I think we did a good job this week.
Yep. Don't forget, as always, to check us out on our Facebook page.
And our new website, check that out, uvnbehindthecounter.com.
Don't forget, comments aplenty. We love your likes and we love your comments.